Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Module 4 coaching call. I'm Mike McClary, and as you can see below, we have Rich Henderson, and I want to make sure you know he is the person in the orange t-shirt, not the other person you might be seeing. But before we get going with the call, as you can tell, we have a very special live guest with us today. So to make sure that you can hear us and see us okay, why don't you respond with who is our special live guest? If you know who she is, type that below the coaching call here. And then Rich, when you get a chance, let me know if people are responding.
I was muted and I said not yet.
Did you enable questions yet?
Yes. I'm just waiting for the update.
Okay.
2, 1.
There we go.
Boom. There we go.
Ooh.
Oh, well, that's kind of a good guess. That Costa Rican mentor. Laura? Who's Laura? There we go.
And look at this one. A beautiful success woman.
Oh, there you go. Pedro Biriti says, Ann Ferris, you're correct. Wow, they're going too quick now. Lisbeth DNL says Ann Ferris. And yep, so whoever's saying Ann Ferris, you are completely and utterly correct.
Awesome. Okay, well, you guys can hear us. That is Ann Ferris below, member, mentor, rock star, Costa Rican, I guess, caretaker for Rich when he's in Costa Rica. And we'll be getting to her later on in the call. We want to bring her on because she's just an awesome person in general and can absolutely relate to where many of you are right now, still looking for your product, trying to figure out, maybe which is the best one, when you're going to launch it, who's going to be a supplier, all kinds of stuff. You'll have your chance to ask her any questions that you want to later on. But before we get to that, I want to remind you, this is all about ASMX, anywhere from the welcome module up into module 4. So any questions there at all, it doesn't matter where you're at along in the game, feel free to ask them live on this call. Rich and I, along with Ann, will also be answering questions that you posted ahead of time in the community. Now, tomorrow morning, we're going to remind you, module 5 opens up. And that is all about getting all your brand assets ready. Now, we're talking about your Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, anything like that that you might want to use as far as social media marketing goes, getting emails set up, ready to go. Basically, Rich is going to walk you through everything so that once your product goes live, you are ready to launch and have everything taken care of and ready for people to look at your brand like it's a big name brand already. So that opens up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That is all that I have as far as announcement goes. I do want to tell you a little secret, though, a little trick. Later on, after Rich talks, I'm going to be talking about a whole bunch of awesome bonuses that some of you may have forgotten about, but you get them for free. But before I do that, I'm going to turn things over to Rich. Thanks, buddy. Here you go. It's all yours.
Thanks very much, Mike. So this week, I am going to keep this really short. And actually, this week, I really will keep it short. I'm not just going to say I am. So the first thing I want to talk about is BSR fluctuations. Quite a few of you have been posting about when you're doing your searches now that the BSR is jumping around a lot. The main reason for that right now is that Black Friday is coming. So a week on Friday, so a week tomorrow, is Black Friday, which is, I'm pretty sure actually it outstripped Prime Day. But between that and Cyber Monday, which comes obviously the Monday straight after it, all customers know, Amazon customers know that there's going to be offers galore to be had on those 2 days. So essentially,
okay, Rich, you seem to have frozen up a little bit. Ann, can you punch Rich? You're right next to him. So if you can hear me, Ann, can you punch him? He's frozen on our screen. Rich, why don't you lean over to Ann and start talking on her computer because you're completely frozen.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, you're completely frozen. Just reboot and use Ann's screen.
Just mute. It's fine.
All right. Rich, we can't hear you yet because Ann's mic is muted. You will need to lean over. And there we go.
My God, this is so heavy. So yeah, so I'm now Ann Ferris. Probably not
This
as
is great. There's
attractive,
two of you on the screen right now.
but I've actually suddenly realized I need to look at what I'm meant to be talking about. Yeah, so BSR fluctuations. Where did I get cut off, Mike?
Right when you're talking about the holiday season, people are shopping, and then you froze up, looking
Okay,
like this.
I didn't look. I didn't look. I could not look that stupid if I tried, Mike. So yeah, so I mean, so you're gonna have, like I said, you're gonna have sellers that are doing special offers, doing crazy things just to get their product higher in the rankings, so that when Black Friday hits, you know, they're at the top. And also, customers just aren't shopping right now. Most customers on Amazon, especially, well, obviously in the USA, they know Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming, so they're just literally holding off. Why would you buy now when the odds are you're going to get a product, you know, in a week's time for 50% off, 40% off, whatever it is? So your BSR is going to jump around. If that's the case, you've got two options. You can look, basically ignore what's been happening in the last week. And, you know, if you're looking next week, that week too, and look at the BSR history. All you need to do is in Jungle Scout, click on the rank. So whatever the rank number is, just click on it, and it will bring up a graph and show you. And you want to look at the mean. In other words, you want to look over the last month or so, have a look there what the BSR numbers are. It's a complicated time of year, but essentially for this kind of 2-3 week period, you just have to take the rankings that you're seeing with a little bit of a pinch of salt. So look at the BSR history. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you're still not sure, then just, you know, hold back, wait. Continue looking, just keep an eye on the products, because you are going to see fluctuations. You're going to see BSR drop because there's, you know, there's not as many sales being made, and that's being made. But also bear in mind that it's going to be the same for most people. So with the exception of products that are like necessities, everyday things, pretty much everything else, their BSRs are going to drop. And by drop, I mean get higher. So a higher BSR number. And then when Black Friday hits, it's going to go insane. Like, you know, the BSRs are going to jump around all over the place, because although it's all relative, because, you know, at the end of the day, everyone's going to be making more sales. The guys that are at the top of the rankings and that have lightning deals and stuff like that on Black Friday are going to get insane numbers of sales. So they are going to outstrip all their competitors. So you just need to bear that in mind. Track the BSR history. It's the most important thing to look at. So if you see a product that's steady in the 300s, and then all of a sudden it's at 20, then that's the effect of Black Friday. And vice versa, if you're looking at something that's, you know, in the late, if you're at the top of the range is 10,000, and you're looking at a product that's constantly in around 8 and 9,000, and then suddenly it drops out of that, you know, to 11, 12, 14, 18,000, it's probably because of this 2-week period. So look at the BSR history, use the average over the last 3 to 4 weeks, or maybe even longer. Just going back to my own computer, because I'm trying to remember what the other things I had to say. So very briefly on Seller Central, guys, don't panic, okay? I am working through this. There are a lot of you working through this, and we're getting people through. We're getting people accepted. It's just taking longer right now. And this happens on big launches because obviously Amazon are all of a sudden inundated with like hundreds of people applying for Seller Central. So it does slow things down. If you've been in touch with me and I've told you to submit a letter, an email to Seller Performance, and you're waiting for a response, it does take a little longer. So just hang in there. And what was the last thing? The last thing, I think I've said this on every single call so far, and it's nobody is going to get left behind. Don't be sitting there thinking, I haven't even chosen a product yet. I haven't even got my hot opportunity list yet. It does not matter, okay? You're not going to be left behind. You do this at your own pace. We 100%, all of us, Anne, myself, Mike, all the mentors, we are desperate for you guys to succeed, and we'll be here helping you do that however long it takes. So don't panic. Don't see other people doing really well and think, they've got like some special, I don't know, gift or something like that for doing this. There's no such thing, okay? Anybody can do this. You can do this. Take your time. And to go with that, if you haven't already posted your why, then I want you to go and do it, and I want you to go and do it right after this call. If you missed the call, basically, you missed, I think it was week 2, I discussed this. Remember what your why is. Remember why you signed up for ASM. Get a picture representation of that why, whether it's your kids or to travel or whatever it is. get that picture, put it on your laptop or put it next to your computer to remind yourself every single day why you're doing this. So when you get stuck, look at that picture and be reminded. Go and find the why thread. It's if you just go and type in ASM update, you'll find it. It's a thread with like 400 responses or more. Go in there, post your why. Posting it publicly is just another way of enhancing how much it can do for you. And also, next week, we're going to be giving away 2 amazing prizes to 2 random people that have posted their ASMX members that have posted their why. So that's all I've got, Mike. I'll try and get my computer working again, but you can take it back.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. And speaking of anyone being able to do this, if we had a blooper or outtake section of these calls, and if you saw the first 10 minutes of this call of us getting ready for it, you would truly know just how much anyone can do this business. We had Rich and Ann's computers doing feedback. We had one of them not working. We had things freezing up. We had me and Rich yelling at each other because I had no idea what computer he was on. It was like a comedy of errors, and we've all been successful in this business still. So, so yeah, you can really, really, really do this. No one on this call was an expert Amazon seller before we took Amazing Selling Machine. So you guys are exactly where you should be. Now, I want to talk about a couple things myself. So in 2 modules, so tomorrow is module 5. And then after this, watch how I do this. After this, it's module 6. And that's all about launching your product. And I know that most of the people on this call are not going to be ready to launch your product next week. We totally get that. It's going to take a little bit of time to get your products in. We'd love it. There will be some people who've gotten their products ready to go and launch, but the majority of you are probably still in the process of placing your order with your supplier, or maybe still even trying to figure out which product you're going to launch and which supplier you want to go with. But what I want you to do is this. So I want you to at least go through next week's training, not the one tomorrow, but the following week after Thanksgiving here in the States. Go through the training so you can start thinking about the launch process. We're changing a lot about the launch process this time because of 2 things. One, Amazon has made changes, and so we have to adjust. Anytime that happens, that Amazon does ranking changes, or they make new features available or take other features away, we have a pulse going with Amazon. We know what's going on. So we adjust our ranking and our launch methods. And we've done that this time. So you want to make sure that you can start getting an idea of exactly what we're talking about with the launch methods. And even though we've changed it, the second thing is it's actually easier this time than any other launch method we have put out there into our training. So we have Helium 10 that you guys are all using right now. We're going to really use Helium 10 to find the best keywords for you to launch with, because sometimes it's not the keyword you might think you want to launch with. We're going to walk through that process to figure out what's the best keyword. And it's also, that tool is going to help us figure out a little better how many products you need to sell at a discount in order to get ranking. And I don't want to get ahead of myself too much, but the entire process using Facebook will be much easier than it was before as well, because you won't have to set up these big discounts like we did in the past. So if you haven't done this before, and I know none of you guys have, it may not make sense to you, but I'm excited because it's easier to actually put this whole process together. And what I'm finding, like this week and last week, I'm relaunching some products to really make sure everything's working as well as I hope it to be. And it absolutely is. So I'm really excited to share with you the brand new launching method. It's a lot of things are the same, but there's some key components that are easier and more powerful. I'm excited to share those with you come module 6. I just want to get you a little bit excited about that I know we've already went through over half of the course as of tomorrow morning, but there's so much more for you to stick around and keep up with and learn, because this is when you really, really learn how to market your brand and build a business. In module 6, a lot of that takes off. So keep that in mind. That's coming up in a few weeks here. Also, speaking of launches, Rich already mentioned this a little bit about the holiday season and how the BSR, the best sellers rank, can really fluctuate as, some sellers are having huge deals on their products. And that can, make figuring out what the right product to pick is a little more complicated, but he already gave what to look at. Look at the history. That's what you really need to focus on. If you have any concerns about whether a product just might be having a lightning deal or deal of the day and selling 1,000 products that day, Look at the history. That's really easily going to tell you that. But on the same note, when it comes to launching your products, the same holds true. So those of you who aren't ready to launch your product yet, this won't really pertain to you. But next summer, come Prime Day and the next holiday season, right, we're getting into this week, when it's Black Friday week's coming up, when Cyber Monday is coming up, that 2-week time period around Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, and also the week of Prime Day, those are the times that if you're launching a brand new product, I would hold off. Because like Rich mentioned, so many products are selling hundreds, if not thousands of units a day, that the ranking increases you would normally get by launching a product during that same time period will be diluted because other people are selling all these products. So again, I mean, it's not perfect. We'd love if anyone could launch 52 weeks out of the year, but we're here to help you and make sure that your business has the best chances of success. And our advice to you is don't launch the week before or after Prime Day, and don't launch the week before or after the Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. Again, nothing to worry about right now, but just keep that in mind. We're here for the long haul. We know you will be selling and you will be, probably launching your second or third product come next summer or come next holiday season. So we want you to keep those things in mind already. Now, I mentioned this before. We have some awesome bonuses. Now, these are not new or surprise bonuses, but what we found out in the past is that people just forget about these. When you purchased ASMX, you got some incredible, amazing bonuses that we gave you and that we're paying for. Like, these bonuses have hard costs to us. It's not something we just kind of make up and give away a virtual bonus. These are real bonuses that we sometimes have to pay for tools or pay for people to do work on. And we want to remind you of these things. So first off, you're getting an expert listing evaluation. So when your product is finally picked out and ready to go and you've placed your order, as soon as you create your product listing on Amazon and you feel like you've done the best you can, one of our mentors, it could be me, Rich, could be Ann, will take a look at that, review it, and give you all the things that they think you need to update, change, or fix to make it convert as good as possible and get as much traffic as good as possible. This is a huge bonus. And so we have to pay people to do this, because as much as the mentors give free time throughout the year, they can't afford to be going through and giving away hundreds of hours of time reviewing these without anything. So we're paying them to do this. We're paying on your behalf to get this. So I want to make sure you guys have as much chance of success as possible. So to be successful, I want you to really make sure that get your product listed, order as quickly as you can, create your listing, and then take advantage of this bonus. Now, also, you're getting 2 free mentor coaching calls. Again, we have to pay the mentors for this because they're going to take at least, 30 minutes for the first call, 30 minutes for the second call, and they're going to be spending time with you going through your business, your listing, anything you want to talk about. So you can get access to the mentors for 2 free coaching calls. You also get, and again, if you don't remember this, you're getting a $500 inventory bonus. Pretty much it's us giving you $500. To order your first round of inventory. Now you have to place your order, and then you submit to us your invoice receipts, and then we'll reimburse you for up to $500 of that. But that's another reason why I'm telling you, I want you guys to find your products as soon as you can and get those orders in, because that way we can reimburse you as soon as possible. And then finally, there's the 6-month buyback promise. This is the biggest, hugest bonus that we've ever offered, just giving it to everyone on here. And I want to make sure that as many of you as possible qualify for that. It's not difficult. We've laid out all the details in there. It's pretty much follow the course, launch your product, get it up and selling and launch within 6 months. There's some more dates in there involved, but it's pretty much launch your product, at least find it by, find your product and launch it within 6 months. And then you will get the buyback promise if you choose to get out of this business. Now, hopefully you won't. We're here to actually keep you in this business because we want you to be as successful as possible. That buyback promise just means if you want to stick it out for 6 months and launch a product and do everything we've told you, and you're still not happy with this business, we've got your back. We'll refund you for the course, and we will also pay you for up to $5,000 worth of inventory. It's pretty crazy, pretty insane. We're here on this call. Like, we could not mention this. We could have used it during the launch of ASMX and get as many people excited about it and then never mention it again so you guys forgot about it. We don't want to do that. We want you guys to know about everything that we're giving you so that you know how invested we are in your success, and so that we give you the biggest chances at being successful as possible. So I just want to remind everyone about those 4 bonuses. You should have gotten an email yesterday yesterday about these bonuses. We laid out all the details in there. None of these have like these really teeny tiny terms and conditions. We give you them in the same font, the terms, and they're usually just find your product by this date, submit your invoices by this date, launch your product by this date. And none of these dates are unrealistic at all. They're all so obtainable. We just want you to keep moving forward. So be sure to pull up that email, read everything we're giving you so that you're aware of them. And so that when you're ready for each one of these bonuses, like your product is ready to go and you create your listing, get your listing evaluation. You've ordered your inventory, get your $500 back. At any point in time, you want some coaching, get your coaching calls. 6 months later, you launch the business, it's making money, but it's just not for you. Well, then get the buyback promise. All those details are in the email, and we're excited to give them to you because we know that it's going to help so many of you be even more successful, even quicker than ever before. So that's it. As you can tell, I'm a little excited about those bonuses, so I tend to talk a little bit. But now let's get to our special guest, Ann. Ann Ferris, welcome to the call. It is great to see you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you live at some point in the time in the future.
Hello, Mike. I'm excited to be here. I'm very excited to see you live as well. And I am also really, really excited to see hopefully all of the amazing ASMX people live in Las Vegas in June, because I'm uber excited about this. And I told Rich after Black Friday, I'm buying my plane tickets and booking the hotel. So I hope to see you all there. I will definitely be convincing as many people as I can to cause as much trouble as I can. So be ready.
You know, and actually I want as many people as possible to go so they can get in trouble with you, so that I can get some rest actually and go back in the evenings and drug out to clubs and things. But if we do get drug out, that's okay. So Ann, tell us a little bit, like, when did you get started with ASM, and when did you launch your first product?
So I am ASM 7. I started in, what is that? It was April, so about a year and a half ago. But for me, it took me a really long time to get my product live. And I started selling my product arrived to Amazon on October 17th of last year. So I have only been selling not even 13 months yet.
Wow, that's awesome. So just a little bit over a year. And now I think, how did your very first product go? The one that you actually launched with first?
Well, so I was really committed when I started. I took a loan from my family. I was broke as a joke, and really stressed out about that because I had a 1-year-old and I was 6 months pregnant. So I really made the decision, like, this is going to work or else. Like module 1 open. I went to a restaurant, actually, Rich and I ate in that restaurant the other day because I wanted to sit by the ocean and do my product selection. And I'll come back to product selection in a second, but because that's, you know, everybody we have quite a community of people now in Tamarindo, Costa Rica, who have signed up, and more people want to sign up because they've seen the success that I've had and other friends have had. One of my really good friends, 2 of my really good friends just launched their products. Every single person of my friends who've gone through ASM 9 or 10, they always tell me that they're feeling behind and that they're getting discouraged. And my response is, at some point, everybody gets held up. Unless you're a superstar, and also really, unless you are able to do this full time, which most people aren't, right? At the start, the idea is that everybody gets to quit their job, but in the beginning, most people are still working. So if you're not able to do this full time, the likelihood of being able to, you know, go through 1 module per week is pretty low. But you go through it, and the whole reason that I always say, why do you choose this business? Because you can do it when you want, on your own time, that the whole course is online, that the business is online, that you're able to work to your own time and your own schedule. So as long as you're moving forward, it really doesn't matter how long it takes you. For me, product selection took me a while, and then I really got held up in making some choices about labeling in my production. And I was maybe 3 months that I didn't go past module 4, and that I didn't go past where I was building out my brand assets. And, you know, I watched a little bit ahead, and I kind of got overwhelmed, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to focus where I am. And at the end of the day, when I launched, because I spent a lot of time building my brand assets, making my product great the first go round, that then within 6 months, I hit, you know, 25K, 50K. And so it's not a sign that you're going to be successful because you went quickly. It's a sign that you're going to be successful if you determine that you're going to be successful. Like, that's all it takes. You tell yourself, yes, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it no matter what. And you have a hurdle, and you just jump over that hurdle. It's a puzzle, and you have to put the pieces together, and everybody's puzzle is different where at what point, you know, you have difficulty.
No, that's great. And by the way, I want to remind everyone real quickly, if you have any questions for Ann, feel free to drop them into the Q&A below the video. If you don't mind, just put the words "for Ann" before it, so we know it's for Ann, and then we'll be getting to some questions for her later on. Hey, so Ann, one of the questions I want to ask you, if you don't mind already, is, were you selling for Black Friday last year?
Well, I was. And I had a great Black Friday. Well, for me, at the time was great. I had like $2,000 and some in sales, and I was like, ah! And now it's funny, if I have a day where I'm selling where I only sell 2,000, I'm like, oh, it's a crappy day. So I'm super, super excited for this year. I'm really hoping that I get my 100K badge around this time as well. And my struggle all year, I started with a $5,000 inventory order, and I didn't take any loans or credit. So my struggle for the last year has been with inventory and being able to reorder. You know, I've been putting all my money back into reordering to build up my inventory, and I'm really ahead of that game right now, and I have a whole lot of inventory, and it's paid for. Rich reminded me yesterday, which like literally just makes me want to, I don't know, die. It's so exciting. But I paid for several thousand units, and my product is expensive. I paid for enough units that when they sell will be over $500,000 in sales.
That is crazy.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. In a year. And why am I there? Because in the first year, I really invested everything right back into it and focused on having amazing customer service and amazing brand assets. But it's not like I'm like, oh, I was expecting to make all this money. I can't freaking believe it. And it's so awesome. It just makes me like want to die every day. But I do really want to go back to product selection, because I think people think with me, you know, and especially people who my friends who know what I sell, they think, oh, well, but you knew what you were going to do. I did find a product that I really care about, but that was not my goal in the beginning. I went and did the modules like everybody else. We did not have Jungle Scout. We did it longhand back in the old days. We also did not have Helium 10. We had to use merchant words and Facebook ads and all those things that really are pains in the butt. But my first product that I got really excited about, it's so embarrassing now that I remember sending Rich this email, but it was a male fertility test kit. Slash, I'm going to say it, whatever. It's a sperm test kit. And I was searching in the baby category, and I came across, and the test is called Sperm Check with like a big check. I mean, so geared towards men. But what the thing was, the BSR was like 1,600 and there was only one seller. And I thought, there's only one seller. And then I looked on Alibaba and it was selling for $40. You could source it for between $2 and $4. And I'm like, what? This is amazing. And I sent Rich this message. I'm like, Rich, but I hope you understand that this is confidential. Don't tell anyone about the amazing sperm kit that I found. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying sperm so much on an ASM call, but come on, I'm more fun than you guys.
No, that's fine. That's totally cool to know that you went through that process. Believe me, we see a lot of products now, because we do listing evaluations and we're doing more and more and more of them, and it always blows me away how many different products are out there that you don't think about. And so there's a whole slew of products that I probably would never buy for myself or admit to buying for myself. And they meet the criteria and they do awesome.
Well, and although this is, it's funny and it's a funny word and funny thing to think about, but it's a home test kit for men to test their fertility, which is something that's embarrassing for people to do. And if you can just find out if it's a yes or no, like, do you have a problem or do you not, it's actually a really good thing for people. So there's two sides to every story. But Rich and Kirsty said there's probably a patent because there's only one seller. So then I went into my super research mode and looked on the patent USPTO website. Which if you're doing that, you have to be creative. If you just type in, what happened, I think for me, I typed sperm check and nothing came up. And then I went onto the website and I found the name of the owner of the company, a Dr. So-and-so. And I searched that and I found it and he had a patent, but it had expired like 6 months before. And so for anyone who doesn't know, if a patent expires, you're given it for 20 years, you can't renew it. So I got all excited and I'm like, this is a gold mine and I'm so excited. But in the end, none of the suppliers had an FDA exemption. So it didn't need approval, but it needed an exemption. And I could have waited, but it would have taken 6 months. And my plan was I'm going to move on and do something else and then come back to this. And I just found something else that I really cared about. Maybe, go back and look and see if the male fertility tests are still there. That's a hot opportunity for people.
So with the product you finally went with, we know it wasn't the sperm kit. Are you happy with your product now?
Yes, I am very happy. And I just showed Rich some new samples. I just showed Rich some new samples that I got today. And I will say this as well. Maybe I'm going to get in trouble for this one too, but I think the ASM criteria is there to make sure that you have a success. If you find something that meets the criteria or it's very close, but that you really know about or you feel passionate about, investigate it. Go for it. I actually didn't know exactly how passionate I was about it until I really went forward. But I thought, you know what? This seems like a good idea and I'd be stretching things a little, but I'm just going to order samples. And I still had all the other products on my opportunity list that fit exactly. And what happened for me was that I ordered samples and 2 were meh. And 1, it was just that feeling in my gut that said, this is it. So I think, like, if you have a gut feeling, go with your gut and because you're creating a business that you're going to have hopefully for a very long time and be dealing with all of that. For me, I love the design of my product and I know most people really hate it, but I love the customer service because I'm talking to people like me and it's really rewarding to connect faces or people on the other side of the computer.
Awesome. Well, you've done an amazing job of it. And so I can see where you've been so successful in, because you come across as so genuine and enthusiastic. And I'm sure your customers can sense that from you. Now, I want to get to some Q&A now. We have some questions. We have some questions from the members. And if anyone here doesn't realize how immature Rich and I are, I wish you could see the Q&A questions. So we share questions back and forth so that I know. I give him ones that people want Rich to answer. He gives me questions that he sees people asking that I should answer. We have questions for Ann to answer. And some of the questions we have regarding her first possible product that we give, they're so immature, what Rich wanted me to ask. I'm not going to go out there. I'm not going to trouble you guys. But the first serious question we have is, Ann, did you have any trouble just navigating with the workbook, copying, pasting, things like that?
Yes. I hate Excel more than life itself. The two things that I hate the most in life, really, I could probably say, are Excel and Facebook ads. So that put me at a slight disadvantage. But yes, I did have trouble, and I went as much as I could filling it in, and then I got annoyed, and I did as much as I could.
And what I'll tell all the members out there, we make the ASM workbook. We give you the ASM workbook because a lot of people like spreadsheets. They like tracking everything because you got to track somewhere what you're researching. But if you don't like the spreadsheet and you want to use, a Word document, or you want to pull out a sheet of paper, you can do that. Don't feel like you have to use a spreadsheet and forcing yourself into using a spreadsheet if you don't want to. We give it to you as an option because we feel like it will help. But if it doesn't, do something different. Absolutely.
And I think it's really important in the beginning to have all your information organized that way, because there's so much information, so many different products. When you're building your opportunity list, so many different products, so many different numbers, BSRs and reviews and all of that, when you put it into the workbook, as much of a pain in the butt as it can be, when you're able to just look at all those numbers like that, it's really amazing. For anyone who does hate Excel, I will say that after I chose my product, I have never once used another spreadsheet. And I wish that I had. I wish that was a talent of mine. I really want Tracy Mayaski to come and spreadsheet my life, because I think it would be a lot easier if I had everything organized. That is just not my strength, and I survive without it. Everybody, that's the thing. What works is different for everybody.
Absolutely. Ann, what was your biggest fear starting out, and did it come true?
My biggest fear was losing all my money and being poor forever. No, I mean, I did. I said to my mother when I asked her for the loan, I said, man, I can't live like this anymore. I was really out of money at the end of every month. And going to the grocery store, and I was pregnant, really hungry, and not having the money to buy the food that I wanted to buy. And when I bought the course, I said, I just have a feeling about this. If it doesn't, this is it. I'm never asking you for money again. And if it doesn't work, screw it, I'm coming home. And I'm going to get a real job again. But I think it was that determination that I put into it that I said, this is going to work no matter what. And I know you guys come up against so many hurdles. I say Amazon is the most annoying business partner in the world. And there will be hurdles. Even if there aren't in the beginning, there will be later. And you just have to hold on to that determination of, I'm going to get through it. And there's less and less. In the beginning, I went through so many things. I needed certifications, and I had warning and labeling requirements. And then I got listed, and then I got my account put under review because I'm in Costa Rica. 3 times I got my account put under review. And then I had hijackers, and then I was out of inventory for 5 weeks. 5 weeks I was out of inventory. And that was all really frustrating, but it's a learning process, and you just say, well, I got to get through it. And then you're over it. And now I haven't had a big issue for several months. So did that worry come true? It absolutely did not. I go to the grocery store now and I buy all the expensive peanut butter I want.
Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs. I bought Rich Haagen-Dazs. I didn't even ask him to pay me back. Haagen-Dazs here is like $8 for a thing this big. And it's funny. Sometimes I have to remind myself, because I've been thrifty for so long. I go to the grocery store and I'm like, oh, I really want this. It's so expensive. And I'm like, Anne, shut up. Like, just buy it. You're such a weirdo. But it didn't. And it's completely the opposite. You know, everything is really starting to pay off now, and all my dreams are coming true.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, so for new sellers, I think I know what you might say. It'd be interesting to find out. What is the best piece of advice you can give them? In particular, where should they put most of their focus and attention right now?
The best piece of advice that I have is to make a commitment right now that you're going to do this. Like, you paid $5,000 for this course. That's your financial commitment. And so you're pretty invested if you spend that kind of money. Make the mental commitment. Write it down, write in a journal. I know it's hokey. I hated journaling until I started, and then now it's awesome. But write it down and say, I will be a successful Amazon seller no matter what. And then write down your why you're going to do this, and then write down where you want to go. So I think it's important to think about the actual financial number. My goal was to be selling $50,000 a month by 2020, because I thought at $50,000 I wanted to be able to keep $10,000 a month after tax and whatever. So that's what I did. I hit that after 8 months of selling, way before 2020. But because you know, but you got to write it and set it there. And then the other thing that you should write is what makes your heart sing. What is the thing that, if doesn't matter whether it's practical or not, what makes you just feel so happy? And that is the goal that you're going to do when you hit your financial goal. And then you have it written down. And when you have a crappy day, or, you know, you're so tired of looking at Jungle Scout and trying to find a product, then you have that written down and you know what you're working for. My why came true like a month and a half ago. I bought a horse, which is a dream I've had for 30 years of my life. I know you rich thinks I'm ridiculous, but for me, that's like a guy buying a Tesla. You know, if somebody said, I'll give you a Tesla for your horse, I would say, hell no. But when I drive to go and ride him, I think every day, holy crap, like this does. It makes my heart sing, and I'm so grateful. And then I put that gratitude back into the hard work that I put into my Amazon business, because I know it's brought me there. And I think this is mental, you know, do it and focus your energy on finding an awesome product and finding a really good supplier for that product. Like, contact everybody. If you have one product that you really like, get as many samples as you can. I know it can be pricey. Maybe instead of starting with 3 products, start with your first product first, because everything changes when you order samples, for sure.
Absolutely. Great advice. And I love the way you say that. Some people say, what is your why? Rich and I talk about that. You say, what makes your heart sing? We're going to use that in the future. That is awesome.
Hey, but I copyrighted that, by the way.
Credit.
So Anne, would you mind sharing how much you spent on your first inventory order? Because I'm in the situation where I'm going to be borrowing money for it.
Yes, I spent, I think it was $5,200 with my inventory order and my shipping. I air shipped because my products take 3 months in production. So I really wanted to get them before Black Friday. So that was why I decided to air ship, and that was more expensive. Also, my product is more expensive. So that if it's a product that's selling in the $20 to $30 range, you can definitely spend half of that for sure. For me, I only ordered 300 units, and that was all I could afford. But I did it, and now I order 3,000 like every month.
How quickly life changes. And you have $500,000 in inventory sitting at Amazon. I'm going to keep reminding you about that and give you anxiety. Another question here. And do you have multiple products or just one? Because I'm wondering how it works when you have products from different categories. Do you put them under the same name or not? Now, I don't know if that's your situation, but just your thoughts on that.
That is not my situation. I have one product with several variations now. I started with one product, one variation, and kept adding to that. And now Mike is going to be proud of me. I'm going to be adding 2 products to my brand, but they are within the same category and really within the same subcategory. Which, if you can do it, I think is a lot easier because you're marketing to customers that you already have. So I took the thing that people like about my product and found other products that fit into that. And if you have a great supplier, your suppliers can kind of help give you a lead on what new stuff they're doing or other people are doing. If you're selling across different categories, that I think is probably one that's more for Mike, because I would maybe say make different brands. But if you make a different brand, it's a lot more work.
And we do. So we sell across different categories, and we have a different brand for each one of those. It doesn't mean it's, like Ann said earlier, it doesn't mean you have to go that route. If you can, for example, if you created a whole bunch of home products, you could have kitchen products, you could have living room products, you could have maybe patio and lawn products. Those could all be in the same brand if you wanted to. But we have some products that are in sports and outdoors under 2 or 3 different brands. We have products that are in automotive that are under different brands. It's very easy to do. Just think about who your customer is. And is your customer likely to buy these types of products? Then keep them in the same brand. If they're not, I would consider making separate brands. And it's easy to do. It's really, really easy to do. And you're getting a lot. Oh, yeah. What?
How many brands do you have?
Is it going to surprise you if I told you I didn't know? I really don't know. And you're absolutely the bomb. You just gave me a big dose of kick butt to make it through this program. Keep up the fabulous job. You'll go a long way with that spunk. Thanks for the boost from Constance. So you're getting lots of great ones like this. Here, I got a couple more for you though first. So Ann, hold on, I got to read this. Do you, oh, you already did that one. Oh, here, you'll love this one, Ann. And I just had a newborn baby, and I also have another 15-month-old toddler. My newborn came in early. It was the same week that Module 1 was released, so I'm a bit behind with all the training, and I'm still not sure which product to choose at this point. How do you manage to do both and still have success?
Oh, I love newborns. My daughter's a year, and I miss teeny babies so much. But and actually, my kids are 15 months apart, so it was the same. I worked when they napped. I had someone take my son, and the newborns, they sleep a lot, so I worked in bed next to my baby girl, or early in the morning. I know if you're a nursing mother, you get brain fog at like 2 in the afternoon and can't do any work later. So I would wake up, but I could wake up really early. So when my daughter would nurse at like 3 or 4 in the morning, I would just get up and spend some time working. Don't feel bad being behind. That's the thing. Family comes first. That's the whole reason I started this business and why I love it. And I could be doing a lot more things than I'm doing now, and I make the choice not to because my kids are little and not in school. And the whole reason that you start this business, if you're a parent, is to have more time with your family. So prioritize that and do what you can. And the thing that I would always remember was to just move forward a little bit every day. So you don't have to be spending 4 hours in a day, but make sure at least you're spending half an hour. At least maybe watch one lesson and take the action step for that lesson, because then you're moving forward. And if you're really busy, but you do that one thing, you let yourself off the hook and you say, cool, I'm proud of myself today, and tomorrow I'm going to do even better. Or maybe I won't. Maybe tomorrow I'll only do one step too, but I'll be proud of myself for that one step.
Awesome advice. Definitely don't feel guilty about ever spending time with your family. This business will be here for you to build when you're ready for it. And congrats on the kids. That's awesome.
I post a picture. I'm like, oh, I'm already getting on the phone.
Definitely post a picture in the community. We'd love to see that. Absolutely. And last question for you, Ann. If you could go back to where you started, would you pick a product with high sales volume and high competition, or a product with low competition and low sales for your first product?
Well, I personally, look, again, you can make either one work, and it really depends what your strengths are and what you're going to put into the business. I would choose a product with low competition and low sales volume, because if there's low competition, if you're going to do that, make your product better, really work on tweaking it and make it better, and try to capture the sales volume of products around that. So the sales volume for my product was not high. I spoke to Norm Farrar about it, the beard guy, who's a pretty famous kind of mentor and an e-commerce person. And he's like, well, you know, you might maybe be able to get this product up to 10,000 a month, is what he said to me after looking at my listing. And I didn't believe that and kept working on it. But I think what set me apart was that I really tried to make my product better. I tried to make my listings better, my photos. So you can't, if it's low sales, if you don't mind low sales, that's fine. If you just want to make an extra $1,000 a month, that's cool. If you want to make your sales higher, then you really have to work to stand out against your competition, you know. And if you're making I don't know. Now I'm trying to think of a product. But if you're making a
silicone spatula.
I know, but there's not really a good option around that. Like, but if you're making a silicone spatula, and let's say that silicone spatulas were not really selling very well, but that other kitchen products were, well, what is it about those other kitchen products? You know, is it that they come in shiny, nice sets, or they're made of really pretty stainless steel, or they come in different colors? Like when KitchenAid made their colored mixers, way more people started spending $400 on a mixer because you could get it in pastel pink or bright red.
Okay, great advice, honestly. And I want to make sure I understood this. So Norm thought your product could maybe get to be $10,000 a month. And where are you at right now with that product?
$94,000 a month.
Ask her next Friday.
Yeah, ask me next Friday. I want that back.
I'll ask you next Friday after. I'm actually going to ask you on Tuesday after Cyber Monday as well, because we see a lot of sales coming in Cyber Monday as well. So Ann, let's see. You're so inspiring. Someone's looking for advice here. I recently launched my product and I feel it's not going as well as I'd like. And I feel behind some other people who are launching and achieving success. Any advice for me?
I think, you know, there really is no one size fits all for what is the best way to launch, or what are the best things to feature on your listing, or what are the best brand assets to use. So, for example, with me, I really can't use Facebook ads. I find it, I don't know, I have a mental block against them. And so I don't use Facebook. I use Instagram and YouTube. But I work really hard at those. And actually, Instagram takes a lot more work because every few weeks I have to organize a photo shoot. But I just like that better. The same with your listing. You know, some listings work better with infographics. Some work better with lifestyle photos. And I think if your launch isn't going the way that you want, well, number one, if your product is seasonal, you know, and it's a summer product because that's when you were choosing your products, just bear that in mind and be okay, and know that you're going to get some Christmas sales, and then it might be slow, but in March you'll be kicking everyone's butt. Or if it's something that's really competitive, you know, really try to think about the ways in which you can stand out. So often when a launch isn't going the way that you want, it's because it's not converting to sales. And that means you need to take a look at your listing. Main thing to look at in your listing is your photos. Most people don't even read the bullet points. I mean, you need to have good bullets, but the photos is number one. And so really go through and see your top 5 competitors. What are they doing? What makes their listing great? Now, sometimes it might just be that they've been there forever and have a million reviews, but for newer competitors that are doing well, what is, you know, what kind of sales copy are they using? What kind of images are they using? And try that and think about, you know, play to your strengths. Also, like for me, I made YouTube videos and that's been a huge success. And I think make YouTube because nobody is doing it, even if it's just an info of like your video tutorial of how to use your product. Do that because no one else is doing it and you'll get hits, and Amazon loves when you send outside traffic. So if you get a bunch of people coming from YouTube, they're gonna bounce you up in the listings. But you just got to keep looking and putting the puzzle pieces together.
Awesome advice, Ann. And you can stick around with us, hopefully, and answer some of the other normal questions as well. Amazing job. It is always awesome to have you on these calls. You're an amazing person. And I really appreciate you keeping Rich busy and taking care of him while he's down there. Oh, there he is again.
And saying sperm on camera. That's
all right.
Mike said it too. Mike said it too.
I can't wait. We're going to have a, well, fun time next year. Yep, that was a little weird time delay there for the voice on this end, but that's okay. We're talking about something else. As my face turns red, we will be giving away some prizes now. And the prize will not be anything we talked about in the past minute. All right, so Rich, I think what we're going to do here before we get to the Q&A is we're going to give away one prize, a free. What are we giving away, Rich? You tell me what we're giving away.
10 1-hour calls with Mike McClary. Sorry, did you get that?
How about a coaching call and an additional 6 months of amazing Seller Pro membership?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think 12 months of the Seller Pro membership sounds cool.
Yep.
But if they want to have 10 calls with you, I think they should be able to.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to pull up the Google random number generator. All right. So let me share my screen. Let's see how I do this.
By the way, Mike, it is 192.
192. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. Rich, since I can't see the screen, you tell me if you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Excellent. So between 1 and 192, just so you know, so for those of you who remember, we talked about the last couple of weeks, we wanted as many people as possible to get the Opportunity Finder badge, which means you found your top 3 product opportunities. And to incentivize you, we now have pulled down everyone who did it. We have almost 200 people who have found their top 3 product opportunities, which is awesome. And now we're going to pick 2 people, one right now and then one later, to get 12 months of the Seller Pro membership, which, trust me, is awesome. And it's going to come into really a great use after you've launched your product. And also an additional free coaching call from one of our members whenever you want, mentors, whenever you want to get it. All right, Rich. So Rich has a list of 192 people who have got their Opportunity Finder badge. I'm going to pull up a random number, and then Rich is going to scan down and find a winner. Rich, let me know when you're ready.
Nothing can go wrong, right?
Nothing has ever went wrong in a live call before.
Go ahead.
Here we go. Going to click generate. Number 108.
Why couldn't it have been in the top? I need glasses. 10. Oh my God! I just clicked off the screen. 108 is. It was not going to be John Smith, was it? So I believe it's Anjum Ashraf, and their username, if I can just open that up, I believe their username is Ash4080, but it's Anjum Ashraf. I'm just going to make sure I haven't got those names the wrong. I haven't got headers, so I don't know if I got the names the wrong way around. But I think you know who you are. Basically, how do we do this, Mike? Do they just contact support, or how we do it?
Just contact support. Let them know that you won the contest for 12 months of Seller Pro and a free coaching call. And then they will put you in touch with Rich and I, and we will get you set up for that.
Anne's just sitting here and looked at me and went, that's a good prize.
Yeah, it really is.
Just one thing on that. The membership won't start until after the ASM course is finished.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, we want to make sure you have your product launched before the membership. And again, this isn't us being stingy. You get 12 months. We want you to get the most out of that 12 months. So make sure that you actually have your product launched, and then you can really use the membership to its full extent. All right, Rich. So I think right now we want to get right to the coaching part of this.
Yep, we're going to start going through the questions from the community. It's going to be another 2-hour call today, isn't it? So the first one's from JL Health. The category is home and kitchen. How do the numbers look for viable product and launch? Oh my God. So the BSRs are 209, 3533, and 3560. The reviews are 4908, 112, and 38. Yep, that matches all the criteria. Yeah, exactly. Woo. That's pretty good. Because you've got a lot of traffic, you've got a lot of sales volume there because of the BSRs, and also you only really got one product with high reviews. So absolutely nothing wrong with that product choice whatsoever.
Move fast.
I'm sitting here going, move fast. So from same person again, of the 677 units I purchased, well, I plan on purchase. I plan on doing a launch party to give away 200 units for $1 for reviews and ranking. Quickly, due to sales volume, how do I create a campaign on Amazon and Facebook for this? Is that covered in the modules coming up? There's the key, that last little bit. Is that covered in the modules coming up? Yes. Mike is going to walk you through exactly how to do a launch the right way. And just so you're aware, that's not giving away 200 units at $1. Not anymore. Things have changed dramatically over the last 18 months, 2 years. We no longer use that method. If you follow Mike's launch, the entire launch method, you will succeed. You will get a ton of sales, and most importantly, you'll get ranking from not using too many products at too low a price. So just be patient. As you've obviously just asked about that product, that's the one you want to go for. And I know from another question that you have figured out like what your budget is and how many of these you'll get. You're doing a great job. Just hang in there. It's only a week away, I believe, next Friday. Yep, Module 6 is next Friday, so that's where it all starts for you. So don't plan on giving away 200 units for $1. That's over a third of your inventory at $1. Doesn't make sense. This person I've decided is my favorite username, even though I really am not a Liverpool fan. Mo Salah, again, is asking this question. I'm creating my website using Wix.com. Now when I'm posting articles with pictures from other sites or blogs in my site, could there be copyright issues associated when I revert to the original post using their URL? So here's the deal. My personal opinion, it's fine. I've been doing content marketing for over 10 years, and I've always linked back to the original article. I've never had an issue because you're giving them credit and you're also giving them what SEOs will call link juice. So from your site, you're actually you're telling Google that post is relevant to the original post. So you're actually doing them a favor. I've never heard of anyone complaining about this. At the end of the day, if you do link to content and someone's not happy about you doing that, they'll tell you, and then you just remove it. Don't get hung up on that. Moving forward, once your business is launched, you're starting to make significant profits and all that kind of thing. You're going to be looking at going beyond Wix. In fact, Anne and I were just talking about this the other day, like what her next step's going to be on what our website will be. So you're going to get to that point. For now, as long as you link to the original content, there isn't a problem. One of my products is a box of 100 units, name tags, for example. This product fits the ASM criteria, but should I only consider boxes of 100 when looking for suppliers? So you should only consider the same product when you're looking at your rankings, reviews, all that kind of stuff. In other words, whether proving your product's viable. If you find a supplier that will do you more than 100, and the price is still comparable, then yes, you could, like if they say we'll give you 150 for the same price as someone else will give you 100, then by all means. The exact same product, what we're looking at there is we're looking at that to check the viability of the product more than anything else. WP Pfister. I am just starting Module 6 on ASM9. I know it was mentioned launching principles of change going into ASMX. Should I wait at all or continue with ASM9's launch? So here's the thing. This is actually perfect timing for you because the ASMX version of the launch will start next Friday and then will continue the following Friday. As Mike said earlier in the call, you shouldn't be thinking about launching a product right now anyway. So this actually works out absolutely perfect for you. Delay your launch, wait for the ASMX training, use that training to do your launch because it will be more advanced and will get you better results than the launch methods in ASM9. Because as always, we continue to evaluate results and improve stuff. Deepak Sisodia 079. I think I did a really good job of that and probably didn't at all and totally ruined it. But anyway, how do I know that the content that I'm sharing on my Facebook page is allowed and the actual website will not cause an issue? Again, it's a similar kind of thing. If I had a website and someone posted my content on a Facebook page with a link back to my site, I would be ecstatic because that's getting you like serious link juice from a Facebook page. Facebook carries a lot of clout. It's so unlikely that they're going to have any issue with you whatsoever. Don't worry about that. And if they do, they're going to message you and let you know. You know, you're not going to lose your page, all that kind of stuff. By all means, do it. And from the same person, so I don't murder his username again, I create my initial listing on Amazon, but somehow it shows as suppressed. I believe it is because of images. Shall I keep the listing in this stage or put any image for now from my supplier? So if you wait another, what time is it now? 18 hours, you'll get access to Module 5, and I actually cover that one thing exactly. Because yes, the reason it is suppressed is because you didn't add images, and that's fine. There's no need to add your images until you create your full listing with all your images, your updated title, description, bullet points, all those things. And all of that is covered in Module 5, which you'll have access to tomorrow morning. So just hold off for now, watch that training, and there's absolutely no need to worry about having your listing suppressed. Amanda Bretcher, I have my 3 hot product opportunities. I'm getting quotes from suppliers. My products are simple kitchen items. Will I have a difficult time finding content to build my brand when selling a simple product? Absolutely not. You know, at the end of the day, if you've got a kitchen product, there are a gazillion different topics you can talk about. I'm now going to forget about all of them. But a classic example is recipes. You know, like people who are interested in the kitchen niche, they're going to be interested in recipes. You know, you can talk about all kinds of different things like nutrition. It's all related to kitchen. Basically anything whatsoever that's related to the kitchen and cooking. There's an unlimited source of content for you. So absolutely don't worry about that. Okay, this is from, where are we? M.E. Vaki. You won the Community Helper Badge recently. So, okay, so you've given me a screenshot of Jungle Scouts, which obviously I can't share. But looking at this product and sorting for rank, I noticed that the first 10 results or so have missing information. What does that mean? That these listings are out of stock or something else. So it could be anything. It could be an anomaly. It could be because they're out of stock. Generally speaking, when I see situations like that, it's not normally 10. That seems to me to be quite a lot. Go ahead and open them up and have a look. More often than not, it's because they're either out of stock, excuse me, or there's some other kind of issue. And if you actually open up the listing and look at it, you'll see it. For the most part, when I get results like this, I just delete them all. But 10 is quite a lot. If you go through this and you still can't figure out the reason, if you want to send me a private message with the keyword search you used, I'll see if I can replicate it and have a look for you. But yeah, it's not something I'd be too worried about right now. Frankie _2018. My question is around BSR. In the last week, the primary product I discovered has risen from 200 plus to now being in the 20s. What do I do? I was just about to order a sample of this, but now I'm not so sure. I see the BSR fluctuates so much from week to week. So again, this is similar to the whole Black Friday thing. Have a look at the ranking history. So click on the rank number in Jungle Scout for that product and see if it's like, a sudden peak and drop again. I would suspect they're just done a massive a relaunch, or they've offered the product at a discount for 3, 4, 5 days to bump up their ranking intentionally. But go and take a look at the competing products too. See if you're seeing similar jumps. If it's just that one product and it's a peak and trough, and you look back in the history and you see other like sharp rises for a couple of days and it falls back down, ignore the peaks, because they're just doing launches. They're just trying to boost sales. M Saturova 1392. I have a product that is already selling 5 to 6 a day. Good job. That's no mean feat by any means. But I have not really been successful. Well, I'd argue that point. If you're selling 5 to 6 a day of a product that you created yourself, you're successful. But for my second product, I'm choosing using the ASM criteria. Always a good plan. But it is in the same category, so it will be under my first product brand. The name I choose for the first product domain is already taken. I was thinking just to switch the name. So don't choose a domain for a product. Choose a domain for a brand. So in your situation right here, if you're going to continue adding products to your brand, I would actually choose a new domain name and make it a brand domain name, not a product domain name. So choose that, and then you can put both of those onto that website under that, because it's a brand domain, and rather than trying to build a domain for each product. Another one from Mo Salah. While I search on Pinterest for pins to add, I find many from potential competitors. Is it a good idea to add their photos to my Pinterest boards? No, don't add your competitors to your Pinterest. Stay away from any competitor or any competing product. Look for other things. If they're posting a general pin, then maybe, but I would stay away from competitors. There should be, no matter what niche you're in, there should be plenty enough pins to use. So stay away from your competitors. Laufran, can we do a food product, or should we avoid food? I see grocery and gourmet in the recommended category list, but I'm not completely sure, as there is an asterisk. So first of all, grocery and gourmet food is a restricted category. You have to get approval. And within that itself, I don't recommend you selling food, especially for a first product. And literally, there's too many reasons I can give you right now. Take my word for it. Avoid food for your first product. By all means, maybe look at it when you've got another product up and live and you're experienced, you understand how the entire business works. But personally, you want to stay away from food. M_E Vaki again, textile question, Rotro. After reading all the information about textiles and the corresponding thread, I have the following question. Okay, this is a really long question, but basically she's basically saying she's found out about labeling and everything else. She's just not sure about customs and maybe extra inspections. But she actually answered her own question. Ask your freight forwarder. Your freight forwarder will have all of this information. If you go and look at our mentor, Ben Cleary, his awesome textile thread, if there's still something you're not sure of, go and ask your freight forwarder. That is one of the beauties of using a freight forwarder, and why Mike recommends them so heavily, for your first product and when you're first starting out. They will have the information for you. So go ahead and ask your freight forwarder, and ask them, say, do you know of anything else, any other reasons why I shouldn't be looking at this product? At the end of the day, they're going to help you. They're going to be your freight forwarder. They're going to be your business partner. They want you to succeed as well, because the more you succeed, look at Anne's, her supplier. It's the same kind of thing. Her supplier wanted to partner with her because she's making more sales of their products than anyone else is. So building relationships is an amazing thing to do, and your freight forwarder is going to want to do that with you too. So ask them. Don't be shy about asking their opinions. And that's me done, Mike. We're on to your questions.
You do have a couple. One in the Hangout chat and 2 are in the Skype. I agree. If you want to get out of the way.
So I was just going to go and sit on the beach. I hate the Hangout ones.
Let me read. I can read them off to you.
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, so this is the last one, the Hangout. For Rich, hello, thanks so much for being here with us. In your video, making your first website, when you're talking about editing social media, is there a reason that you don't add an Amazon icon and instead you focus just on Facebook, Twitter, etc.?
Yeah, because you're adding content. Like Amazon, it's kind of like, I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about, but I think you're talking about posting Amazon content on your website and using the Amazon link to pull content in. Don't do that. don't put any Amazon products on your social media apart from your own, and on your website. Like, you definitely don't want other products, whether it's competitors or just other random products. Don't put Amazon content on your website. Don't find interesting content. That's what it's all about. It's not right now for you. It's not about adding products so much. It's about adding interesting content. So people, when they go to your website, they stay on your website and read stuff, because that's how you build your rapport with your clients and with your customers. And it's exactly the same thing with all the social sites as well. So that's why we're using social content and not Amazon content. I think that's what you're referring to, because Amazon do now have their own social link tab thing that pulls content in the same way Facebook does. If that's what you're talking about, then nope, don't use that. Skype, I think I can read, Mike.
Okay, good deal. And also, if that wasn't the answer to the question, feel free to post in the community. Then we'll be able to answer in detail.
Post in the community, tag me too. But I'm sure that's what you're referring to. If not, I'm sure the mentors will jump there if I don't get to it. Rich, if the rank is fluctuating so much, is it better to wait out this period? This is obviously a question that came from when I was talking about Black Friday. Is it better to wait out this period? I've gone through the first 100 pages of Home and Kitchen department and I've not been able to finalize a single hot product opportunity. So yeah, by all means, you can wait this out. This has only really started kicking in the last week. So if you've only just started searching the last week, that might be the reason. Otherwise, 100 pages in Home and Kitchen, you should be finding products. Like, that's the example I used. I know, obviously, no, you don't want to pick the same products I showed in the training, but there should be plenty more than that. So I'm not sure that would have a big enough effect right now. But if you're not confident, by all means, like, have a break, take a week off, a couple of weeks off. But there's nothing to stop you looking. And if you find products that you're interested in, and again, look at the BSR history. If it's a fluctuating BSR history, but there's a constant level. In other words, I'm trying to do this so you can see it on the camera. So if you've got a level like this, and it's up in a peak, and then it comes back down again, and it's a certain level again, and up and down, or down and up. If you've got a constant mean line, an average line, then you can use that as, that's going to be the BSR in general. But yes, I could have answered that really shortly and said, yes, you can wait it out if you want. My question is about product research and Jungle Scout. I'm stuck on finding a product, and I feel like I start over again each time. I know I have to save the Amazon page on which I stopped, but even if I go over the Jungle Scout, pull everything from the beginning. Okay, it shouldn't be doing that. Make sure, just trying to think of the easiest way, because it is in the training. Make sure that when you put that search in and that you hit it, that it's showing. So if you're on page 5, make sure it's showing sort of 300 to 460. 360, and not showing 0 to 360. If you've copied the link correctly, it will show the last page you pulled. Now, it may well pull a couple of products that are the same, but it shouldn't be pulling products from page 1. If you still have an issue with that, go and post in the community and tag me. And I might even shoot another quick short video just about that very thing. You see?
That's it.
That's it. Am I doing it?
That's it. Go back to the beach, buddy.
Go to the beach. Excellent. I'll see you later.
All right. So we did get a follow-up. It was from Sgararami, I think the name was, on that previous question, Rich, now that we asked him to clarify it. He said he thought he needs to put an Amazon Associates link from his product back to Amazon to make money. I'll take this one because what Rich is really talking about when making your first website is just building a brand presence so people know you're a real company. You have a social media account on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube. He's really talking about building your brand out. Now, once your product is live, if your product is live and selling on Amazon, your product is live and selling on Amazon, feel free to put a link to your product with an Amazon Associates link if you have an Amazon Associate account to make a little bit of extra money for that product. It's not going to hurt at all. You'll get somewhere around 6% commission, so you're not going to make a lot of money off that. We're not here to teach people how to get an Amazon Associates revenue because the potential is really, really, really small. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and put a link to your product and you have an Amazon Associates account, go right ahead. Later on down the road, when you're selling more and you really just start true e-commerce on your website, you'll want to actually build out like a Shopify site so you can actually take orders on your own website. But for the interim, yeah, put a link back to your product. It is not going to hurt at all. Okay, so I'm going to get to my set of questions. From Ina, in a hypothetical example, let's say I have a company named Acme. I love that, from the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner days. And Acme has two brands, Mike's Bikes and Goddess Glow. In this scenario, how do you successfully combine these two very different brands into one store? You talk a lot about ASM members creating multiple brands, but I'm still not understanding how that's done within one Amazon store. Please help us understand that multiple brands thing. I'm blushing because the first product otherwise becomes very critical as to the foundation of your entire brand and your one and only Amazon store. All right. So now, even though we think of you having one single Amazon store, no one else in the world knows that. So let's say that I did, my seller name when I set up my account was Acme. I can still sell multiple brands from within that one store because no one shopping on Amazon goes to your store. The only time they do that is when we give them specific links to go to those products sold by Acme only. And then they may see 2, 3, 4 different types of brands of products. But to Amazon, that absolutely positively doesn't matter. So for example, our first Amazon business, we launched we eventually had 2 brands starting out with, all under the exact same seller account. It absolutely doesn't matter at all if you have 1 brand or 2 brand. It's not going to cause you any issues within Amazon. Now, later on, if you plan on selling one of those brands and keeping another one, then my recommendation is later on, get approval from Amazon to create another seller account and then use a second seller account for that brand. Only when you're ready to launch another brand, and only if you truly want to sell one brand and keep another. That's the only time that I would worry about that. But there is no issues launching multiple brands within one seller central account at all. And when you go ahead and get brand registry later on down the road, you can truly create these Amazon stores for your brand inside of Amazon. And again, it has nothing to do with you a seller or which seller central account you're using. So it won't cause an issue. For now, focus on that first product. And your other question, you didn't ask it directly, but I think you also are wondering, if I'm going to build out brands, I need to really focus on my first product. You're kind of right. I wouldn't worry so much about your first product. We want you to find a product that's going to sell, make you money. So you learn this business, you can get cash coming in, and then you can use that to grow your brand. It can be growing your first brand that you're creating right now. That's awesome. But if after you launch your first product, you realize you want to branch out into a completely different brand of products, totally fine as well. You can do that. You'll have all the knowledge about what it takes to build this business. You'll have cash flow coming in to fund that. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying you have a lot of options after your first product. But if you want to build a big brand and you want to focus on your first product and have that be the base for it, that's an awesome thing to do. If you know what you have a vision for your brand, like for example, Anne, now that she's selling her first product and finally launching 2 or 3 other different types of products, she has a vision for her brand, and her first product really demonstrates her brand to her customers, so that after they buy that product, these are customers who will want to buy other products that she's selling. So yeah, if you want to build a big brand, then make sure that you can have add-on products to your initial product. From JL Health, Module 3 has many moving parts, but what would be the minimal that I need to do to bring my product to market? In cutting costs, do I absolutely have to have inserts? Do I absolutely have to have more than just white packaging with a logo? At every corner, there's an additional cost. And what are the bare bones of a successful first launch? Gosh, this is a hard one. Let me tell you this. I know people who've made millions of dollars selling products with their first product was awesome packaging with inserts and also a logo on their product. I also know people who have launched products using no logo, using no inserts, and just having a plain white package, and have grown their business to millions as well. Like, there is no right or wrong answer here. And there is no, you absolutely positively have to do this. Because in every situation, we're going to show you people who've been able to do something with doing that and without doing it. We're trying to give you the baseline. So I know that doesn't answer your question directly. So here, I'll try to answer it a little more directly. Figure out your budget, know what you can realistically spend. And then if you're going to do anything, I would focus on getting really good packaging first. Doesn't have to be fancy, just your own packaging that's not a white box. That's the first thing I would spend a little bit extra money on, because your package does help define your product, and people are going to receive it. The first thing they see when they receive your product is the packaging for it, not even the product itself. And that's going to make them feel like it's a real big brand. After that, Inserts are pretty cheap. You can usually get an insert added for a dime or so. So if you can afford to do that, go ahead, because the cost for doing that is usually so small, and it'll help you start building a list later on. If there's other things, that you can do, like having really fancy packaging, you don't need fancy packaging for your first one. If your packaging costs you 20, 30 cents per box, that's probably pretty realistic. Some people may spend $1 or $2 just on the package and have like real nice foil packaging with multiple colors and blister packs. You don't need that for your first product. So it's hard to tell you what the bare bones is. Figure out your budget and then focus on packaging first, then on inserts. And none of those have to be real fancy at all, just kind of basic ones, but definitely something that shows your product is its own brand. Also from JL Health, I have $4,000 to launch a product. Well, I should have read that question before I answered the one before, because now I know what your budget is. So the product will cost $3 a unit to produce from the manufacturer. I plan on using half of that, so $2,000 for the product itself, $1,200 for shipping, and the remaining $800 will go for advertising. Is this a good delegation of $4,000 for a first launch? I haven't equaled in inserts, box designs, instruction manuals, inspections of my product, or anything. What would you do? Am I going too hard for the first launch? First off, that's a great split for everything. $2,000 for inventory, $1,200 for shipping, and $800 for advertising. I don't even think you need $800 for advertising. I think if anything, I would take a little bit of that money and put it back towards, I don't know, save that for more inventory. That's what I would do. So it's a great breakdown. If you're going to get anything, I would try to get some kind of packaging. You don't have to spend $400 or $500 on like 99 designs getting your packaging. You're going to learn more. Actually, you just learned about that in the previous module. You can see if you can have your manufacturer come up with a basic packaging design for your product. Usually they can do that for free. You may have to tweak it a little bit. But I would try to get some kind of packaging that they can give to you, and you just update the text on it. So it's your brand name, your product name, maybe your instructions. That's what I would do. And usually that packaging isn't going to cost you a lot of money. Inspections are pretty cheap. If you're only having 667 units, which is, I believe, what the math is there, then you don't need to have every single unit inspected. You can get a sample of those inspected. I don't know what the cost is going to be. You have to get an estimate. But definitely, I would try to get some kind of basic inspection just to make sure things are okay. So I would get some kind of packaging, and I would get a limited inspection. That's where maybe you use some of that advertising budget for that. And that should really help you get things going. But a $4,000 budget to launch right there, where not even all that's for inventory, you have plenty of money to launch your product. That's an awesome, awesome way to launch your product. All right. So from JL Health, how much advertising money is needed to sell 700 units in a month? I absolutely positively can't tell you that. I just don't know. It's going to depend upon your category, what the competition is for it, where you're advertising at. I just don't know. Now, is it 800? Now, think about this. A lot of the advertising money you'll be spending, the majority of it is going to come from Amazon, which they just deduct it from your payments that they'll just be taking money out of there. So, and you kind of have to pay for that, but I look at that almost as a cost of the goods there. So I can't tell you how much it's going to cost. I think 800 is more than enough for launching. For launching, we usually say only a couple $100 for the initial launch. And the rest of that is going to be Amazon sponsored products, which will just be deducted from Amazon, your Amazon seller account. So you don't have to put more cash into it. So you should be plenty fine as far as advertising goes. From Adam Bannon, not a damn Bannon. I probably should have said that a little betterly. I still don't understand what is a freight forwarder. It seems to come down out of nowhere in one of the Module 2 lessons, and I'm still confused about it. How do I get one? Okay, a freight forwarder is simply a company that you hire to ship your products to Amazon for you. That, in a nutshell, is what they do. They take freight and they forward it from your supplier to either your house or to Amazon. And in the private resource vault, we give you several options for freight forwarders that you can contact. You just call them up, you email them, tell them your product, what you're ordering. They'll give you an estimate, what it's going to charge, what they'll charge you to have it imported. And that's how you get going with one of them. From Deepak Sadodal, what should be the correct order? Placing your order, then freight forwarder, then inspection service, and then package design and inserts. So out of those 4 things. So The first one would be your inventory order. You want to place your order. Then while they're doing that, you want to make sure that you can design your packaging and inserts. So you don't always have to have all your packaging ready to go before you place your order, because they have to make your product. It usually takes about 30 to 45 days. So after you place your order, then you want to get your packaging designed and send it to your supplier. Then I would contact your freight forwarder to make sure that they know when your products should be ready to ship and where you want them to go to. And then I would figure out an inspection service. And if possible, find an inspection service who can inspect your products in China. That way they'll catch any issues before you actually ship them. One thing you might want to check, see if the freight forwarder that you're contacting, and I don't know which ones in our vault have this, but see if they work with or know of an inspection service in China that they would recommend, because that might help kill two birds with one stone. So inventory order, package design and inserts, then freight forwarder, then inspection service. Also from Deepak, I managed to reduce the MOQ to only 300 units. That's great, but the shipping cost has not reduced much. Is this normal? Because my initial shipping cost calculations was on 500 MOQ. Yeah, it is. So with shipping, the way shipping works is they have to reserve a certain amount of space for you on these boats usually, or on a plane. And sometimes like a big part of the shipping cost isn't the actual space it's all these other fees that are already set. And so even if you reduce the size of your order a little bit, it's not going to proportionally reduce your shipping cost as well. Which is why when you really get up to the point where you're ordering entire containers, your shipping costs like per unit come down huge, because the freight forwarding companies don't have to worry about finding 5 or 6 different companies to fill up that one shipping container. They know there's one company that's going to take that entire container, and their costs are really pretty much set for that. So yes, it is normal when you lower your MRQ that your shipping cost does not lower proportionally. From WP Pfister, in the ASM9 training, okay, that's one back, there was a mention of a video being allowed on listings, but only sometimes. Is there any more further information? No, there isn't. So this is still in beta. Amazon is testing out letting sellers put videos on their listings, but they have not released that yet to everyone. They still only test it with a few people. You can sometimes, if you're brand registered, some companies who have brand registry can put a video on their listing. So I think the one thing I would focus on is trying to get brand registry going. And also what they do have right now is that people who give reviews for your product can put videos on there. So if you know someone who has used your product and can give you a review, ask them to put a video up there. It won't go in your listing, but it will go right below your listing in a pretty prominent place. But no, there's no way for just every seller to go out there and put a video on their listing yet. From Amanda Brechter, one of my suppliers has responded with this. We work on OEM orders. Do you have your own size? I'm not sure how to reply. They had a product similar to my hot product opportunity on Alibaba, which is why I contacted them in the first place. So OEM orders means that they work with companies who create their own designs of products. And so they're kind of wondering if you have your own design and model that you want them to do. So tell them that where your reply is that you are not an OEM. You want to use their design. See if they will allow you to buy exactly what you saw in there. If they only work with OEM companies where they need you to send them a brand new design for the product itself, move on to the next supplier. That's not who you want to work with. From B-Dog, love that name. You mentioned that we should first ship the inventory to ourselves before shipping to Amazon. If I live in Canada, should I still ship the inventory first to myself and then to Amazon after? And would this be more expensive? So really, yeah. So I need to rephrase that. If you live in the country that you are, well, what you really need to do is ship the product to someone other than Amazon first, coming from your supplier, and make sure it's someone living in the country that you're selling in. So if you're selling in the US and you live in the US, you can have it shipped to you so you can see it. If you're living in another country from where you're selling, then no, I would not ship the products first to you. What you want to do is hire a freight forwarder and have the freight forwarder who is actually located in the US receive the product so that they can actually do a cursory inspection for you, just to make sure that there's no damage to the cartons or boxes or anything, and then have your freight forwarder ship the product to Amazon. Great question. No, you don't want to have your product shipped to you if you live outside of the country where you'll be selling it. Get a freight forwarder to do that for you. From 10 Corey, what is the best way to tune a product and differentiate it from our competitors? To add something free to the product, to make the size bigger, or change the packaging? There is no single best way. I mean, there are what, millions of products on Amazon, and it depends upon the product, the best way to tune it. The best way to tune a product is to add in an additional feature that your customers want. So look at the reviews from your competitors, see what people say about the product. Is there something that breaks often on it? Is there something they wish was bigger or smaller? Or is there something they wish was more well explained in the instructions? Look at the reviews, figure out what people want, and then that's the best way to tune your product. Now, they may want the sky and the moon, and you can't do that with your first product. So you have to like think about something within reason. What is it your potential customers want within reason that you can easily add on or include with your product, or just improve most likely with your product? From Morteza Yari, I have a good product. I have a good price from a supplier, which is a trading company, but should I remove that supplier from my list because it's not a manufacturer? No, I mean, even though, perfect scenario, you'd like to be dealing with the manufacturer because you should be getting a better price because there's not that middleman. And just, a trading company is a company that doesn't actually manufacture the products. They instead work with dozens or hundreds of manufacturers, and they source those products and then they sell them to you. I know it seems like a middleman may be a bad idea. And I would rather go to a supplier, but some trading companies have really good relationships with suppliers, and they're able to get cheaper prices because they order so many products from them as well. So sometimes it's a good thing. So my recommendation is, if you have a good price, I wouldn't care if it's a trading company. I would use them, especially for your first product. Let's see. From 10 Corey, how low can the profit margin be? How lower can the profit margin that we can go? 31% will it be okay? Okay, I think it's a question got mixed up. So just how low of a profit margin is okay? That's probably what you want to know. And is 31% okay? 31% is totally fine, especially for your first product. I wouldn't go much lower than 25%, maybe 20% for your first product. Because if you do that, you won't really have much money to reinvest in bigger orders and much money to spend on advertising. So we try to target 25 to 30%. So 31% is totally fine. Now, keep in mind that it also depends a little bit on the total price of your product. So if you have a high selling product, let's say you're selling a product that sells for $50, I might be okay with just a 20% profit margin on that, because you have a lot of money to spend in that profit margin on advertising. So 20% of a $50 product is actually going to be $10 that you have a profit margin of. That means I could use part of that $10 in order to spend on advertising on Amazon sponsored ads and still make a profit. Now, 20% off a $20 product is only $4, which doesn't give you a lot of money to spend on marketing and advertising. So in general, 25 to 30%, you should be okay, but you can go lower if you have a higher priced product. All right, let's see. From Matthew Turvey, I'm about to order samples. Because of custom functions, I require the sample cost quoted by each supplier to be around $200 or $300. Should I choose the best supplier and order one custom sample, or order 3 cheaper samples without the custom functions? And now there's some additional explaining here. Order one to get the custom functions I want. I'd have to pay them $200 or $300, or order 3 samples, the standard shelf model, and they only cost $10 each. So this is a tough one. You have to think about how much you really want those custom functions. And first off, I totally understand why your supplier is charging more. If they have to customize a product just for you to make one product that's a sample, they're going to charge you a couple $100 probably to do that. It's a lot of work on their end because they don't know if you're going to place an order with them or not. For me, I would, if you really want this custom functionality, I would only order it from one supplier just to make sure that the functionality is exactly what you want. And then I would get 3 samples, have one of them be from that custom manufacturer with all the functionality you want. And the other 2, just get the standard ones from those suppliers, because what you'll be looking for from them is just what's the quality from those other suppliers. And hopefully they'll be good enough quality. But my hope is that the one that actually does the custom functionality for you is the supplier that you end up going with, because you'll have seen exactly what the product's going to look like. But yeah, pay for one of those and get the other 2 that are standard. And if the one that gives the custom functionality is great and gets a good enough price, go with them. If not, then make sure that your other two suppliers can provide the functionality that you want. You can even make them a little video showing them the custom functioning one you received as a sample to make sure they know how to make it. From Oak and Sage, I just checked on my storage limit and inventory performance, and it appears to be unlimited. I know it said that new sellers are now limited to 100 cubic feet, and I'm just wondering if I could expect this to change. I want to plan correctly. So if you if it's unlimited right now, I mean, maybe right now Amazon is changing things around. I don't know what to tell you, because that's a great thing if it's unlimited, but I would still, what I would do is this: plan on it being limited to 100 cubic feet, because if that changes, then because if you count on it being unlimited and you're going to send it all in and they change it, then you're kind of screwed. Not totally. You'll just have to find a manufacturer or a warehouse to send it to and store it for you. But I don't know if it truly is unlimited right now. Usually it's based off your inventory performance score. And if you don't have one, it shouldn't be unlimited. But hey, so yeah, count on it still being limited. And if you're able to send it all in the first time, then that's awesome. That's totally cool. But yeah, count on it being limited. From Deepak, this is my last question, Rich. I've ordered my first inventory and I'm trying to engage with the freight forwarders, and all of them are saying that they don't deal with individuals, including the ones in the resource vault. Does that mean that I have to now open an LLC corporation in Canada or in the USA? And getting an EIN seems to be a step for the shipment. Can I get an EIN as an individual from Canada, or an LLC corporation is a must for me? So yeah, I mean, freight forwarders, they sometimes do different things depending on where they're located and where you lived. And we have seen freight forwarders in the past ask people living outside the United States to create an LLC in order for them to do freight forwarding with you. So my recommendation really is, I would create an LLC. If you have the ability to do that, TPAC, go ahead and do that, because it's going to give you so many advantages in the future, and it's going to make this a non-issue. So I would create an LLC in the USA. It's really easy to do from someone outside the country. Just get one set up there, and then you can use that LLC for any freight forwarder. It's going to remove all your issues. I'm not saying everyone else on this call who doesn't live in the USA and who's going to sell in the USA that you have to get an LLC, because it depends on your situation, your products, where you're ordering from. The freight forwarders may allow you to do that, but I would definitely look at that as a possibility, because if you're going to be successful in this business, at some point you will be creating an LLC, and it's going to be to your advantage to do so. And also they're asking, can I get an EIN? Yeah, you can. Anyone, whether you live in the United States or not, can get an EIN. It's an employee identification number. You just contact the Internal Revenue Service in the United States, and on the phone, they'll tell you exactly how to do that. And you might be able to import into the United States using a freight forwarder just with an EIN and not an LLC. Again, my recommendation is go ahead and get an LLC, but first get an EIN. They're free. Contact the freight forwarder, let them know you have that. They might let you do that. I don't know if they've already told you no, if they will, but you can try that as well. And Rich, that's all that I had for the Q&A.
I just added one more question for you on Skype.
Oh, here we go. On Skype. Okay, we have like 3 places for questions now. So Mike, okay, this is a follow-up question. As you said, the freight doesn't go down when the MOQ is lower. What should you do if it's not the money? Should I order 1,000 or only 500? Is 1,000 too much for the first order? I mean, it depends upon your product. 1,000 is not too much for your first order. You can, I mean, whatever you can afford for your first order, I would get. And there's a benefit. So think about this. If for 500 units, you were going to spend $1,000 in shipping costs, but for 1,000 units, you only spend $700 in shipping costs, like it didn't double, your cost per unit just went down. You're spending more money overall, but your cost per unit just went down and your profit margin just went up. So whenever possible, order more inventory and get an estimate on the quote from your freight forwarder to make sure there's nothing else we're missing here, and get an estimate on that. And what you should see is that your profit goes up every time you order more inventory. So that's what I would do. 1,000 is definitely not too little. If you can do that, that is awesome. It's going to give you a lot of inventory to have for a great launch. All right, Rich.
Yeah, I think we're good. Like the mentors are going crazy in the background as normal, answering all the questions. I even went in there to like do some work, and I just couldn't answer because they were answering too quick. So we do have to do one more prize.
Ooh.
I've got something else I want to talk about. But first of all, most importantly, shout out to a dear, dear friend of mine who passed away last year, Christine Artrell. Wisconsin. Her husband bought me this shirt about, I guess, 3 months ago when he came to visit in Costa Rica, because I love doing accents and I'm pretty good at them. I could not do a Wisconsin accent. The only thing I could say in a Wisconsin accent was Wisconsin. And it actually says that, it's spelled like that. And underneath it says drink Wisconsibly. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. So we need to do another prize. Are you ready? I've got my sheet ready.
Yes. So let me get this ready to go so we can, I'm going to share my screen here. All right. Share. There we go. All right. From 1 to 192, you said you're ready?
Yeah, just don't hit 108 again.
Okay. Hold on. Give yourself a drum roll. 157.
I really do need glasses. 157. I can pronounce this one. Bradley Dexter. Congratulations, Bradley Dexter. So all you need to do, you won. All you need to do is contact support, tell them you won the prize on this call, and they'll tell you what to do. Again, you won't be able to actually claim the what will be 12 months of the Seller Pro membership until the ASM course is over. That's for your own benefit. But to get your 30-minute call, we give them a 30-minute call as well.
Yes, we are.
We're stupid. Okay, to get that call, you just need to send me, when you're ready for it, just send me a private message in the community. Remind me which call you won this on, and I'll sort you out with your call. So I do believe I have my one job of the week. Is that what's next on our agenda?
Yes, it is.
Okie dokie. I have done my one job of the week. Anne isn't looking, but she probably laughed when she sees how big I've made the font so I can read it. So the runners up, and obviously this is community helper. You all know what this is by now, but basically people who help out in the community. And it doesn't have to be that you're answering questions. It can just be that you're encouraging people or encouraging yourself, but literally just interact in the community. It will benefit you, you know, so please do it. But our 5 runners up, and 2 of these have actually been mentioned before. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to take a bash at this one. Kawajia 1, you're a runner-up. Team Magical Stuff, another runner-up. And we've got 3 more. It looks like Mitz La Vista. I think I got it. I said it better this week than I did before because she has been on before, or he has. AC Doocy 56. You have got a good chance of winning. You seem to be mentioned every week. And you're also now officially Anne's favorite member because of all the questions you asked her. And then we also have M. Losakofelu. Pretty close, right? Yep, you're a runner-up too. But thankfully, the mentors chose the winner this week and made it really easy for me. And again, not too happy because I'm not a Liverpool fan. But the winner this week is Mo Salah. So you've won a 30-minute call with one of our mentors on top of all the other bonuses that Mike mentioned earlier. But when you're ready for that 30-minute call, just put a message in, send me a private message, tell me which call you want it on, and I'll arrange that for you. But huge congratulations, Mo. You've been like there every single week. So there was no doubt you were going to win this week, I think. Congratulations. For all the others, congratulations too. And at least 4 of you have been mentioned before. So there's a good chance you might be winning next week too. So keep doing what you're doing, and you could win that call. Plus that very elusive community helper badge, which is a stepping stone to becoming an ASM mentor. That's all I got, Mike.
All right.
All
so
right.
I have a question for you. What was the road number that you picked for the winner?
Oh, no. Did I get it wrong?
We may have to have a recount here.
157.
Okay, it was 157, correct. Okay. So Jeremy was calling you out. Want to know if you were picking 167 instead of 157. It was 157. All right. So
well, 167 was on my list. Don't forget my list, the different to yours, was KV Harish.
Okay. All right. Okay. So sorry, Jeremy. Jeremy Moise. But okay, good. We have that out. So now I know we've been on this call for a long time. We're coming close to 2 hours. You guys have been awesome with great questions, really asking Ann a lot of great questions, give Rich and I a little bit of a breather. We should bring Ann on more. A lot of people were saying, and Rich and I agree because she can talk even more than I can. And
Really, take my place next week. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I'll stay on the beach this time.
So thank everyone for being on the call. Absolutely go check your email for the email we sent out about your bonuses. We don't want you to miss out on them. If you didn't get it, if you're an ASMX member, so you joined ASMX last month and you didn't get it, just contact support. They'll verify your ASMX member. They'll make sure you get a copy of the detail because we want you to take advantage of that. We want you to be successful. So definitely do that. I want to thank everyone for joining us on this call. I want to thank the mentors in the background, Joanne, Elaine, Steve, and Tracy. They do an amazing job always of answering so many questions. Thank Caleb in the background for making sure that we have everything running smoothly. And we want to thank Anne for joining us on this call. The lovely, beautiful, smart, talented, and you're amazing. We all love you. The members love you more than they love Rich and I, so it's a little annoying, but we're willing to put up with it because you're so awesome.
You can't tell, but you can't tell she's listening. Ooh, echo.
What was that, Rich?
I was just going to say you can't tell, but she's actually blushing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Well, but it's all true. So we're going to end this call now, let everyone get back to their lives. Everyone keep moving forward. Module 5 opens up in the morning. You'll be building out all your brand assets, launching next week. And we will see you. Remember, next week, it's an early time. It is next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. So the call is going to be a day earlier and 3 hours earlier. You'll get a notice via email ahead of time, let you know that. But it's because the very following day, the normal day is Thanksgiving. We won't have anyone here on that day. I will be stuffing myself full of turkey and stuffing and all kinds of good stuff. So remember, next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central. That's it from us here at an amazing selling machine. And Rich has one more thing he wants to say.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I was complaining about not being able to stuff myself with turkey, but Anne is very graciously offered to cook me turkey next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's shaking her head because that's a lie. We actually have been building our brand assets for over a week now, Mike.
Oh.
Tomorrow, they're actually going to be learning how to build their listing.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, just wanted to point that out. But you know, I hate catching you out when you get things wrong. But I just thought I'd mention that. So yeah, like Mike's already said goodbye. So I just wanted to say one of these weeks, Steve, we will say your name first. Mike and I are gentlemen, so we always put the ladies first, but you never know. One of these may actually call you out first. But yeah, so thanks everyone. We'll see you all next Wednesday.
Yes.
We'll see you all next Wednesday, nice and early. But for now, take care and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.